my name is Tina Hwang. I'm a Senior Associate at Queen City Law, and today we have Craig joining us to talk about the First Home Partner Program.
Hi Tina, thanks for the invite. Craig Pettit, I'm a mortgage advisor with Loan Market. So I've been with Loan Market for the last 15 years as an independent advisor. So there's over 20 different banks and financial institutions that we deal with, but probably the most exciting thing that we've got on the table at the moment is the First Home Partners Shared Ownership Program.
So maybe you can tell us a bit about the program, what it is, and just make it easier for our viewers to understand what the program is.
Certainly, yeah. So First Home Partners is a joint ownership scheme with Kainga Ora. So Kainga Ora is a government department, and Kainga Ora will make a contribution towards the purchase price of the first home loan of up to 25% or $200,000, whichever is the lesser. So in exchange for that, Kainga Ora will take a proportionate ownership of that property, and their contribution is interest-free and non-repayable for 15 years. Over that 15-year time period, the idea is that the homeowner will gradually buy Kainga Ora's share out. Now that can either be done in dribs and drabs, a minimum of $1,000 at a time over that 15-year period, or when the property is sold, or at the end of the 15 years.
So Kainga Ora will buy jointly with you as a 25% share, or contributing $200K towards the property. Now how do you qualify?
Right, okay, so it is only available for first home buyers. It is only available for New Zealand citizens. You do need to have a minimum of 5% deposit, so the bank that we deal with is going to want to see that that 5% deposit is genuine saved money. So that's like your hurt money, if you like.
But Craig, it doesn't have to be money in your savings, right? It could be in the form of your kiwisaver, or it could be in the form of a first home grant that you get, right?
Yes, and that's quite true. Yep.
And is there an income threshold?
Yes, good point. Yes, so the maximum household income can't be more than $150,000. So that's the combined annual gross income. So before tax and before any other deductions. Can be some consideration for multi-generational households. So maybe households with up to 6 people involved, so maybe mum and dad and 2 or 3 working age kids, they may well qualify for an income cap of more than $150,000.
Right.
Additional to that, if you're buying a 2-bedroom property, then you can have one boarder or flatmate renting the other room, paying up to $250 a week and contributing towards the household expenses.
And what if you have a 3-bedroom house?
Then you can rent out 2 rooms. So you throw in an extra $250 a week each for those 2 rooms, and then that is not included in the $150,000 income cap.
Is it for just couples, or what kind of people? Can you have brothers? Can you have sisters? Can you have families together? How does it work?
Kainga Ora and the bank that we deal with actually recognise that the household makeup is substantially different now to what it was 30 years ago. So 30 years ago, your average household makeup was mum and dad and 2.5 children and a cat or a dog. So now we see completely different household makeups, and that is where this scheme is very, very flexible.
So you could have friends, you could have brothers, you could have sisters, you could have families buying together?
So long as they're all living under the one roof, that's quite correct.
To start the process off, I guess they'll need pre-approval from the banks, wouldn't they?
They actually need pre-approval from Kainga Ora.
Right.
There is a link that they need to go to see if they qualify, and I can pass on that link to any clients that are interested. Once they get their approval letter, they then come to me and we submit the application to the bank.
Right. So they get approval from Kainga Ora, they get approval from the bank, and then they look at properties. Now,
and then they're good to go.
What kind of properties? Does it have to be new build?
It does not need to be a new build. It can be an existing property.
Yes, so that's a game changer that recently came out, wasn't it? So
about 6 weeks ago, that's quite correct.
Yeah, so they can look at any properties that can qualify for this. And so can you please give us some examples of how this could work?
Yep, so if we look at a couple,
yep,
or an individual earning, say, $120,000 a year.
Yep.
All right, so that could be a couple earning $60,000 each, or an individual earning $120,000, or any different makeup of that. Let's say they purchase a property for $950,000. They've got their 5% deposit in their kiwisaver, so they've got $48,000. Kainga Ora then contribute their $200,000 which is a little bit less than the 25%, so that's the 200,000 maximum. So then they're servicing $702,000 worth of mortgage over 30 years at principal and interest. And if we said the 12-month interest rate was 6.89%, which it is as at today, they would be paying $1,066 a week in loan repayments.
But Craig, if they have flatmates, then they can use their flatmate money to contribute towards that.
That's right. So if they're buying a 3-bedroom home, townhouse or whatever, and they've got 2 flatmates paying $250 a week each, then that means your weekly repayments are going to be $566 a week, which I would imagine is an awful lot less than what you'd be paying in rent.
In rent, yes. So a couple who potentially have money in the kiwisaver, or maybe money through the first home grant, could potentially buy a property like that without putting in their own money, and also using some of the flatmate money to pay towards their mortgage, couldn't they?
100% correct. And of course these numbers are going to change with every different household. So households earning the maximum with the flatmates, they could be purchasing well over $1 million as a first home.
And I think one of the stigma or misconception is that people think that if they're buying with Kainga Ora, they have to buy in a state housing area, or they have to buy a state house. Now, that's not correct, is it?
That is not correct at all. No. So they could be buying an established property in an established suburb where they've got all the infrastructure and the amenities on their doorstep, or they could be buying a new build. They could be buying a terraced house. They could be buying an apartment. Or a standalone property.
Craig, how do they get started on this?
Well, I guess the first thing they need to do is have a chat with me.
Yeah, sounds good. And then they can also talk to us to get their papers sorted, to go through the conveyancing part of the deal. So everyone, there you have it, folks. You don't need to be buying a property that is in a state housing area, or you do not need to necessarily be married. You can buy with friends or siblings or family, and you get up to $200,000 contribution from Kainga Ora, which you do not have to repay for 15 years. So it's a great product available for you if you qualify. Please feel free to contact Craig or myself if you have any further queries. Thank you.
Thank you.